Hi friends, welcome to the Share, Invite, Proclaim channel. My name is Judy. I'm in a series on the book of Revelation, and I want to get this in before something happens to my laptop because my grandson knocked it on the floor, and who knows how long it will last. But anyway, I'd like to review just a little bit. Last video I was talking about Act 5, which is chapter 15 and 16, gets into the bowl of wrath. And here you have the curse on the earth, you have the curse on the sea, a curse on the rivers, a curse on the sun, a curse on the beast, curse on the esophagus, a curse on the Euphrates, and a curse on the air. And that brings us up to today's topic, which is Act 6, the beginning of Act 6. And I only have one window that I can talk about today. This one, is that the right one? I always have to check. Yeah, it's this one. It is the window of the woman and the scarlet beast. And again, we are in heaven. We have the 24 elders. We have the four, these guys, and we have the reflection of Christ. And we have the 7 windows, and we're going to talk about the first one today, the beast and the woman. Window 1, we're talking about the judgments, the 7 judgments. Scholar Dr. Blevins says that each act of Revelation had a theme from the Jewish temple. So far, we've had the 7 branch candlesticks. We've had the altar of incense, the Ark of the Covenant, and the closing of the Holy of Holies. So Blevins says that the setup in Act 6, the entire stage becomes the Jewish temple. Now, this is not the new heaven and the new earth of chapter 22, but it is this in chapter 6. The audience in Ephesus is ready to see the end of Rome and the Roman Empire. John uses many symbols that the Christians would understand, but the Romans would not. John emphasizes the theme of the end of Rome and the end of the Roman Empire in 2 chapters, which gives the hearers hope. Unlike our present desire, John writes only 3 verses about the Battle of Armageddon and 4 verses about the millennium. Now, 2 subjects are in the first window, the harlot and the beast. Well, the harlot is a symbol for Rome, so what do we know? Well, we know in verse 1 of chapter 17, that she sits on many waters. And the significance of sitting on many waters is found in verse 15, which says, all people and multitudes and nations and tongues. So she sits on them, meaning she reigns over them. Well, we know that she influenced the behavior of kings by committing acts of immorality. The wine was so much the kings were drunk with immorality. Not just wrong behavior, but the Apostle Paul wrote in Romans 1, 24, 26, 28 to 32, more specifics, God gave them over to lusts of their hearts. God gave them over to degrading passions, and God gave them over to a depraved mind. And then Paul listed several adjectives to further describe the immorality of the Romans. They're filled with unrighteousness. And get your seatbelt on here because it's a lot, really. They're filled with unrighteousness, wickedness, greed, evil, full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, malice, gossips, slanders, haters of God, insolent, arrogant, boastful, inventors of evil, disobedient to parents, without understanding, untrustworthy, unloving, unmerciful. and they practiced these things worthy of death. Now, did he leave anything out? I don't think so. And the harlot took things one step higher by having a gold cup of abominations. Well, what's that? Well, that she was drunk with the blood of the martyrs, those believers who refused to worship Caesar. Paul and Peter were prime examples of this in AD 65. And the harlot was drunk with the blood of those who witnessed Jesus. Now, I don't know. I'm not sure if she's talking about the disciples or if she's talking about all those who were alive and saw Jesus when he was in Jerusalem. Well, we know her outward appearance in verses 4 and 5. She was clothed in purple, symbol of wealth, and she was in scarlet color, represented sinfulness. She wore gold, precious stones, and pearls, and written on her forehead was this: Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. Dr. Blevins mentions that many of the harlots in Rome were branded on their forehead with the word porn, which indicated that they were prostitutes. Abominations of the earth might refer to the obscenities involved in Caesar worship. Well, what is her judgment in verses 16 to 18? The 10 kings of the beast hate the harlot. Now, these are the kings that overthrow Rome and the Roman Empire, I believe, and will make her destitute, naked, and will eat her flesh and burn her up with fire. Probably, again, this is a reference to the Battle of Armageddon. Well, what do we know about the beast? Well, the harlot sits on the beast, who is scarlet in color, and that represents sinfulness. The beast has blasphemous names. The beast has 7 heads. It's a symbol of the 7 Caesars reigning from the death of Jesus and their present time: Tiberius, Caligula, Claudius, Nero, and then he skips the 3 that only served a few months: Galba, Otho, and Vitellius. And after Nero, he goes to Vespasian, Titus, and Domitian. Now, it was believed by many, and especially those in the audience, that Domitian was the reincarnation of Nero, because there was this legend that Nero would be reincarnated. Well, we also know that the audience would recognize the beast as Domitian, and that in verse 8, the beast was Nero. He was Nero and is not, because he was assassinated and is about to come out of the abyss and go to destruction. And that would be that he's coming. Verse 9, here's the mind which has wisdom. And the mind that has wisdom is he or she that connects the dots, that the 7 heads are those fallen Caesars. Now, the location is Rome. The 7 mountains symbolize Rome. But these fallen Caesars, verse 10, 5 have fallen. So that would be Caesars, Tiberius through Vespasian. 1 is, and that would be Titus, and the other, Domitian, has not yet come. Reincarnated Nero, who must remain a little while, for 1 hour, in verse 12. Well, this may or may not be in a 24-hour period that we think about. The 1 hour could be 60 minutes, it could be 1 year, 1 age, we're not sure. Further identification of this beast is that he is one of the 7. Now, Nero was the 4th Caesar, and as an 8th Caesar, Nero reincarnated. Other scholars believe that the once was, now is, and will come is the beast. the same beast from chapter 13 that has 7 heads and 10 horns. And this is the place where the one head dies and is healed. The beast has 10 horns in verse 12, which symbolize 10 kings who have not yet received a kingdom. Again, the identity of these 10 kings is not certain, but we have interpretations. One view is that the 10 horns are led by Nero from the east with the Parthian army, which was a major enemy of Rome. They had uncrowned governors who were Nero allies and generals. This is from the Interpreter's Bible. The beast is a symbol of the Antichrist. Another view from the NIV says that the 10 kings are symbols of secular empires like Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece. One is Rome. The 7th is the Christian Roman Empire of the Germanic nations, and eighth would be the kingdom of the end, or the Antichrist. Scholar Fox says the 10 represent puppet empires of the Roman Empire, and these vassals exist only due to God's permissive will. Now, let's go back to the 10 kings. The 10 kings have one purpose in verse 13, to give their power and authority to the beast. This is prophesied in verse 17, so the words of God are fulfilled. These will wage war. Definitely the 10 kings and reincarnated Nero, but I believe those whose name was not written in the book of life are also waging war against the Lamb. They wage war against the Lamb, which we know is Jesus Christ, but they are defeated because the Lamb is Lord of Lords and King of Kings. The Lamb has the full authority of God. Earlier in chapter 5, the angels are singing, "Worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom and might and honor and glory and blessings." And this war will be further described in chapter 19. The Lamb was the one that broke the seals in Act 2, and in chapter 6, they were the rider on the horse, war, famine, death, the martyrs. The Lamb is a shepherd to those who come out of the tribulation, and the 7 trumpets. There is also a Lamb coming to defeat Satan in chapter 19. On his robe and thigh are written King of Kings and Lord of Lords. That is, that he is Lord of the spiritual realm, and he is king of all the physical kings. Fox tells us that Jesus' followers, the believers, share in the full victory over the evil forces. They are the called. That includes the invitation and the acceptance. They're saved. And they are the chosen, elected by God, but allowing for human freedom of choice. He's an Arminian, not a Calvinist. And they are faithful. They're committed to God, and they are trustworthy. So a lot happens in chapter 17. In chapter 18, we will find a little bit more specific ideas about the fall of the Roman Empire. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope my computer stays healthy so that I can finish Revelation with you. Thanks for watching.